The Senate confirming Neil Gorsuch as a Supreme Court justice just a short time ago. I want to get reaction right now from one of the top Republicans in the Senate, Senator John Thune of South Dakota. Good to have you here, Senator.
Thanks, Trish.
I guess congratulations are in order. But let me ask you, given that the nuclear option was employed here, what is it going to mean for future confirmations? In other words, is this going to make it a whole lot easier to confirm the next Supreme Court justice?
As a practical matter, Trish, I don't think it really changes anything. All it means is that we'll be confirming Supreme Court justices at 51 votes, which is the way it's always been. Obviously, not having the 60-vote threshold out there is a backstop. Perhaps changes in some fashion the way that presidents might nominate justices to the court. But I think for all intents and purposes, everybody sort of knew this was going to happen. The Democrats initiated this in 2013 for lower court and appellate court nominees, and they had indicated last fall during the presidential campaign that if Hillary Clinton had been elected president and they had a majority in the Senate, that they were going to do this.
They would have done the same thing. Okay,
right. So we are where we are. Now we just have to move on.
So the good news is you get Neil Gorsuch there. But in terms of moving on, you know, you get 3+ years to get additional justices there. If for any reason the Democrats were to get a hold of things down the road, don't you run the risk that there won't be as much consensus formed around future nominees?
Frankly, it would be ideal if this hadn't taken place. But, you know, when the Democrats did this in 2013, it kind of set us on this course. And I think in the future, at least, you know, we're going to have on all the courts now pretty much a 51-vote threshold. Does that change the dynamic of that whole discussion? Perhaps it does on some level. But again, as a practical matter, Supreme Court justices have always been confirmed at 51 votes. And so essentially we were preserving with this the tradition of the Senate.
And they forced you guys into this. They really did. Let me turn to Syria.
Yes.
Another big story here today. What's it going to take to stop this man, Assad? I mean, why can't we just go in and remove him from power? What's really needing? What do we need here to transpire?
That's a really good question. I think, you know, of course, it would be great if we could get some action by the UN and our international partners to become more involved, more engaged, more aggressive in calling for his ouster and really putting pressure on to remove him from power. Ultimately, he's got to go. There's no way we're going to have any kind of a unified Syria, any kind of stability or peace in that region as long as he is continuing to exercise power and to commit these types of atrocities against his own people. So that's got to be, in my view, the objective, how we get there, how soon we get there, and I think those are things that are in the process of hopefully being worked out.
This should be kind of a no-brainer, though. Anybody that saw those images of those people, those children that have been massacred by him, I mean, shouldn't the international community, I realize we always have to be out front on this because we have long been the hegemonic power in the world. We lead the way, and we're doing so right now, but shouldn't they all really be folding in line? Shouldn't we be working together and saying to Assad, enough is enough, and doesn't that need to happen soon?
Well, it does, and the only thing that keeps him in there is he's propped up, of course, by the Russians, but I think it's why it's important that the international community become more engaged. And I think what you saw last night, Trish, was American leadership, and that will be recognized in the region by the Arab states. I think it'll be recognized by our European allies as evidence that the United States mean business, that we do want to move forward in a direction in Syria that gets to a much better outcome and result for the Syrian people. And I hope that generates the kind of support from that coalition out there that's necessary to get this done. But it starts with American leadership, and American leadership was evidenced last night.
Senator, thank you so much. Good to have you here.
Thanks, Trish.
All right.